Hello and welcome. This is Boss Barrel Radio in the year of our Lord 2024. After a short break, we've returned triumphantly to talk about video games. I am Griffin Hoffman. With me is Jeff Brewer.
What's up?
Dr. James Scherer.
Peace be with you.
And also with you.
Are we going to mention our invisible friend?
And our invisible friend, the soul of the squirrel.
Christ is always here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why we have to record in separate states.
Yeah.
To leave room for the Holy Spirit.
It's a Christian Side podcast.
How's your guys' walk with Jesus lately?
You know, we're doing okay.
Meandering. He did try to drown me.
What did he do to you?
He tried to drown me. Like, we were walking on the beach together. It was really nice.
And then there was one set of footprints?
Then the only
Damn it. He tripped me into a crab that bit me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think it was because I lean too much into the consumerism.
The sins.
Yeah.
That's true. Sins of the father.
Yeah.
Your father do be sinning.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, did we do one of these in 23?
We did.
Oh, wow.
We did do one in 2023. So, perfect timing, Jeff. Let's do a quick check-in from the last podcast we had. Jamie, how's that PSVR 2 treating you?
Oh, dude. I use it so often. I've definitely used it more than 0 times since the last time we spoke.
The real question is, since you moved, has it exited the box that you moved it in?
Oh, God. Well, not only has it not exited the box that we moved it in, we didn't move it. It is in the old house.
Oh my God.
Not. Yeah, it is not. It has not seen the light of day.
But soon you can use it on PC.
Oh, I can't
or
wait.
Or something. I don't know.
I will tell you, looking at the timestamps from the last episode, there was 40 minutes of conversation around the PSVR 2, Jamie.
Oh, God.
You said you were satisfied, and Jeff, you were dispassionately interested.
I was gonna say that wasn't for me. I didn't fill up that 40 minutes. I may be a Nintendo slut, but I'm not a VR enjoyer.
I don't think I've ever felt more guilty about anything in my life.
Oh no!
Just sell it back, man. I'm sure it holds most of its value, right?
Oh no, I don't care about the cost. I care about wasting 40 minutes of your guys' time.
It all balances out, my friend. We don't want to go into the histories of. That is one of the problems of doing a podcast is you can actually go back and pull archives.
Check the tape. Yeah.
How much of a dipshit I was in the past.
Griffin, what's going on in Genshin?
Oh boy.
It's Yu-Gi-Oh now, right?
That was a 2023 event.
Oh, okay.
It's good. Genshin's good. I still can't imagine picking up that game to play for the first time ever. I don't know how you bring in a new audience, but it's good. It's still doing what it should be doing.
It's the stellar return or whatever, the thing that they give you if you haven't played in 40 days.
Yeah, you get like 10 free pulls or I don't know, 10,000 fake bucks or something, and it's great. Yeah, no, it's good.
Griff? Can we like gaslight Jeff right now?
Because you've been playing a ton of Genshin with me.
Well, I was gonna say, like, what's his thing, right? Like, you got the Genshin, I got the PSVR. Like, we have to, but he doesn't have one, so we have to gaslight him, right?
Oh, I have plenty.
Yeah, Jeff's the straight man on the whole. Like, he keeps us level.
I was gonna say, like, how's the Valorant or something, but I don't know if that's.
Mine is just like engaging in like nostalgia trips far too often. Like as I was putting in my notes for this podcast, I just spent like the last month like reviving my old DS and installing custom firmware on it. So I can access the DQVC in Dragon Quest IX and play all the old quests that I couldn't play previously.
Oh, that's right, because you would have to download them from... Yeah, okay, interesting.
You gotta use cheats. No, but I think that's my thing. It's just the endless
but
pursuit.
That's rad. That's rad so. Now. It's going to be rad 20 years from now. PSVR was never rad.
I think mine is purchasing a Nintendo Labo, maybe.
Well, I mean, Jeff, yours is the Nintendo superiority, and they just whatever they do is better than all the other companies.
Still kind of feel that way.
I mean, I do too.
I was gonna say, how do you not feel that way after the last after Summer Games, not E3?
Well, since we all did take a shift, a step to the right, like a couple years ago? Like
that's when we all started listening to Alex Jones. We took a step.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody kind of shifted their stance on some stuff. Notably, I became a PC guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you guys stopped saying that consoles are dead, or maybe I forget. Maybe you brought that back again. I forget which it was.
Still an Amiibo believer. They didn't announce any at the last Direct, guys. I think it's over. NFP is no more.
No more NFP.
Yeah, if you want to razz me, Jamie, I literally spent an amount of money that I can't quantify, and I don't want to, on purchasing Amiibo. I have a Christmas ornament box that's full of Amiibo.
That's wonderful.
We all have skeletons in our closet. We
Skylanders
all have...
in our closet.
Yeah, we all have
Don't you talk shit about Gil Grunt? He's in there.
No, it's all good. But yeah, so Griff, you embrace PC gaming. I feel like I've become more agnostic in general. I don't care
Me too.
as much, which is nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just the getting sandblasted into a smooth husk of your former self by time has really helped. I think all of us.
Oh yeah.
The slow erosion.
So I'm really into, speaking of the step to the right, I'm really into pocket knives now. Guess what do you want to? Genshin is real old. It's all about pocket knives for me.
I want to hear your screed about how banning knives is anti-American.
It's like the number one American-made industry right now. It's all these knives made in America, and taking that away from us is taking away jobs and markets.
I'm gonna be real with you. I do have on my desk, and I just picked it up, a Leatherman that I quite enjoy, and sometimes just open and close, despite having really no time in my life when I need a utility knife.
I was gonna say, what do you guys do with these things? What happened to scissors? Just get a scissor.
Well, you can't use the scissors on cardboard boxes.
It's true.
Yes, you can.
No.
I do it all the time.
No.
Jessica
tool for the right job, right?
Jessica always chastises me for not using scissors on cardboard boxes, and I'm like, no.
That's why I have a knife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
Oh.
I don't feel alive unless I'm holding a scissor in such a precarious way that I could just slice my pinky clean off.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of
that
three-finger
cardboard
method.
box.
That happened a lot with the wallpapering. When we were not using X-Actos, when we were scissoring stuff, I was like, how do I use these things?
You guys think there's a novelty shocker scissors out there? And if not, we should probably cut that out and go make it and sell it.
You mean like you hand someone a scissors and it electrocutes them?
No, it's like 2 fingers in the first slot and 1 finger in the bottom slot for the scissors.
So you're suggesting that we create, just to be clear, we create a scissors
Etsy didn't see it coming.
that resembles the female anatomy, is what you're suggesting, Griffin.
Yeah.
Okay,
Exactly.
just to be clear.
Yeah.
So how about those video games?
Never heard of them. They're dead. They're all garbage now. Games suck.
No, games are great. There's a lot of good games.
Games are game. One might say there's too many games.
There are. That's why the industry is laying off so many people. It's kind of a rough period for big games, but it's a great time for games in general, I think.
It's a good time for game players.
Yeah.
Probably not a great time for big game makers.
Yeah. They will survive, though. I'm not prognosticating doom.
It's all over.
No.
Switch 2, save us.
I mean, I am excited for that bad boy. How y'all feel about the most recent round of... First of all, did people catch the stuff that was revealed in the last, let's say, month or so? And have any feelings or thoughts? I honestly did not watch the Xbox show. I know people were raving about it, but...
Jeff, are you talking about the new, not E3 Summer Games event?
Yeah.
Kind of that just popped off this year?
Yeah, the electronic entertainment events.
The Keeleys, the pre-Keeleys.
The pre-Keeleys.
Yeah.
Yes.
I only caught trailers and highlights. I didn't watch any of the fanfare and pomp and circumstance. Mm-hmm. So
same.
Yeah, same here. I mean, go ahead. Yeah,
I was satisfied with what I saw for sure.
Yeah. Are there things people are excited about?
Doom!
I did see... did you see this, Jamie? I saw that gun that had skulls in it as ammo. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I saw a picture, but I was kind of let down by Doom Eternal. It was like too much of what it was, like too complex. The thing that made Doom 2016 great is that it was pretty simple. There was, in addition to what you actually do in terms of the guns, there was like basically 2 functions to worry about. But in Doom Eternal, you had to like constantly be, in addition to shooting, like rotatingly manage 3 additional essentially like resources, as well as thinking about grappling yourself to enemies. I don't know, I felt like it was too much, and I hope that they go a little bit back to the drawing board with this. I only saw a screenshot, so I don't know if that's the vibe, but I don't know, Griffin, is that the vibe?
Well, first of all, let me say, Jamie, I wholeheartedly agree with your assessment of Doom Eternal. My buddy Colin is a Doom Eternal champion. He
Apologist.
thinks it is... Well, I don't think apologist is appropriate. He just
a good game.
He loves it, yeah. And his stance on it is he loves that puzzle piece of it, like where there is a flow, there is a mechanism, there is a right way to play it. And for me, as a big dumb dingus, I struggle with that, and that's why I like the 2016 where there was more flexibility. You could have more room for error. You didn't. It felt less of like I'm managing a tank. Like I gotta press all these buttons and move all these systems and manage all these different heat, dissipation charts and whatever. So,
what you're describing...
I have no idea if the new one looks like it will be different. Sorry, Jeff.
I was going to say, what you're describing is why I'm like terrible at like mech games, because it's just too much. I can't manage all the systems.
But it's also like at 300 miles an hour, unlike a mech game.
Yeah.
But no, Doom. Oh God, the Dark Ages.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Looks cool. I mean, I'm just ready for more Doom. I'll tell you that going back in time into the more pre-Doom is not what I'm interested in. It was the weaker part in terms of the setting and story stuff of Doom Eternal. But on the other hand, I mean, I'll give it a shot. It'll be great. And it's just fun to shoot big stupid guns that barf out skulls and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like most people share this opinion of Doom Eternal being the lesser product, and I don't know if that's just because Doom worked for people because it was just like a power fantasy, where like you can just like essentially just like blow people up with big dumb explosions and have fun with it. Like, is that kind of what the vibe was?
Yeah. I think that Doom 2016 brought a lot of Doom bystanders back in and appreciators back into loving Doom, and Eternal did something for the hardcore fan base that wasn't maybe there in the Doom
like the people who played like Doom mods.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
like the people that went and bought the DLC for the game and continued playing through it in all the hardcore story modes, like Colin.
Yeah.
But to Griffin's point of there being one right way to play Doom Eternal, that was so true to a fault. Like, I was hoping, when it became clear to me that I was not the type of person that was going to juggle all of those additional, window dressing things with the new game, I was hoping that I would be able to put it back down to maybe easy mode and play it like I played Doom 2016. But even on easy mode, you still need to manage those resources, and you can't really play it like it's Doom 2016. So even if they do include all that jazz in this new one, I hope that if you dumb it down, you can play it like a power fantasy, like Jeff is saying.
Yeah.
I'm just excited for the one kind of screen they showed where it was like a Braveheart style long line of troops, and you're just kind of running across a big wide plain battlefield. That really stuck with me because the corridors got a little tiring for me, which is quintessentially Doom, but taking it into a different, wider, more expansive play area seemed more interesting from my side. The Doom Dragon, we'll see how that goes.
There was a Dargon?
There was a Dargon.
All right.
Yeah.
The only game I want Dargons in is my Tomb Raider.
You mean dinosaurs?
Dinosaurs.
Isn't there like whispering of another Tomb Raider reboot coming in the pipeline somewhere? Who knows? I mean, probably Embracer,
so.
like, destroyed it when they laid off 8 million people, but I think I had heard something about that.
Wasn't that a Square Enix published thing?
No, they don't have. I don't think they have Crystal Dynamics anymore. I don't remember. There's been so much stuff changing hands, but I think they've handed that off to someone else. But
I'll tell you what's awesome in the Tomb Raider world today, in the here and now, is Tomb Raider speedruns, because those OG games are so busted. It's so much fun to watch. I love it.
I don't know if I've ever watched a Tomb Raider speedrun, but if there's one at SGTQ, I'd absolutely check it out.
There's always ones at SGGQ. Yes. They're so good. They like little things like enemies being triggered by tiles. So if you go around the tile and you never touch
spawn,
it,
yeah.
they never. Oh, well, they're
cool.
there. They're just frozen. You can just run around them.
Do they have a Butler Fart % speedrun?
They do. They literally do.
Perfect. Yeah, so I feel like of the like big budgets. Well, first of all, obviously Sony's a non-presence. I mean, they didn't, no new first-party Sony games this year. But of the stuff,
Whoa! No,
that was a good noise, Griffin.
was that wrong? Are you talking about Lego Horizon?
Jerry.
No, Astro.
Oh, that did look so good. I'm
did.
sorry. I'm ashamed of my words and
Mario
deeds.
Methadone.
No, that looked really good. That was of the stuff they showed at that state of play. It was like that was like, oh, there's hope.
I felt the exact. Somebody messaged me and was like, "Oh, big sticky fart, Sony," and I was like, "Agree, probably." And then I watched it. I was like, "Wait a second, Astro looks fucking great."
No, Astro looks really good, and I will absolutely buy and play that.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that looks excellent. And Jamie, I feel like you were always an Astro guy. Like, I feel like you might be the most Astro guy out of all of us.
Yeah, I haven't. I knew that they announced something. I don't know what it is. I haven't seen it yet. I was excited, but tell me more.
It's just like a glorious 3D platformer, like a full. Go ahead.
You know what the Astro series is, though, right, Jamie?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I played it on the VR headset. I played it in the.
You played the pack-in, right?
I played the pack-in.
Okay, so it's just more of that good stuff.
Keep the living piss out of the pack-in.
To me, it feels like it's almost like what 3D World is to 3D Land. Like the pack-in, was fun, proof of concept, and the game that they're going to be shipping looks incredible. It looks so good. It looks like one of those games that it will capture kind of the Odyssey spirit, I think, with kind of the unbridled joy.
Cool. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, you should watch the trailer. You will be excited. And it is just funny to me that, like, as Sony has kind of changed their messaging to talk about, like, what their strategy is and what they're pursuing, and like these kind of big, like, tentpole games that are like, your Last of Us and whatever else. And then for that to be the highlight of their presentation, I hope somebody takes note, like, and realizes, like, oh, we can do stuff like this and people will buy it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But, I mean, the excitement on the internet doesn't necessarily translate to explosive sales, but thank you for reminding me of that, Griff, because I was just thinking to myself, like, oh, like, Sony's not doing games this year, they've kind of announced it's going to be rough, but that was really, really good.
For the longest, this entire conversation, I've been trying to remember what's the actual name of the game.
I don't remember.
It's Astro Bot.
That's it?
Two words.
Okay. It's kind of like how, this is a brief aside, and we won't talk about it much because, honestly, I'll just mention, so I played a little bit of Dragon's Dogma 2, and for some reason, the game is just called Dragon's Dogma.
Boom. Got him.
No, it's just like when Lords of the Fallen had a sequel called Lords of the Fallen. Like, why are we doing this? Stop.
Are you saying because that's not a dig? It literally refers to itself as Dragon's Dogma 2? Or Dragon's Dogma only?
Literally, the title card says Dragon's Dogma.
Dragon Dogma.
Dragon Dugger.
Dragon Dogma.
Dugger Dogma. No, I played a little bit of that game, and then I got screwed over by the weird arcane saving mechanic. Chose to respawn at the last inn I'd stayed at, thinking a campsite was an inn, and lost like 4 hours of progress. And I was like, I'm good with this for now.
I'm surprised because you were so jazzed for that.
I'll come back to it, but it was just not. It left a real unpleasant taste in my mouth. So I was just like, I'm gonna give this one a break. But anyway,
but your little peons can get AIDS or whatever.
They sure can.
How these video games have come so far.
And then Nancy Reagan shows up. She says, or she won't talk about it.
I haven't touched Dragon's Dogma 2, and I don't plan on it.
That's valid.
And Jeff, to validate your opinion of it, the guy I go for tattoos had put 40 hours in and said,
I want to have a guy I go to
game.
for a tattoo. Why don't I have a guy I go to for tattoos? What's wrong with me?
We should get
I
tattoos.
need a guy.
Jamie, can we put that on our vision board? How about when I come down, we get tattoos? We get a heart on both of our arms, and then we have to put our arms together to complete it.
No, I just want like a big, busty Lara Croft.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
So it's a regular Lara Croft.
Hey, the Camilla Luddington one wasn't as busty.
That's true.
The more recent one.
Oh yes, you're right.
She,
the reboot.
Yeah, the kink for her was
The
getting
flattening.
impaled.
Yeah,
It was getting impaled. That was what got people.
The
off
baby
on that
fat
one.
is what I recall them calling it.
That too, yes, but also getting stabbed with pieces of wood.
Yeah.
That happens so many times.
So many times.
In the intervening time, I did become a doctor, and I can tell you now, even as a psychiatrist, that she ain't walking away from all this. There's an infinite number of times that any human being can get stabbed with any number of large pieces of flotsam and jetsam.
That's what Shakespeare said, right?
It's just a bit
exactly.
of an infection risk in that environment. Like, how do you keep that wound clean?
Yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, no, so Astro Bot looked really good, and thank you for mentioning that, Griff. But I feel like, I don't know.
But
Go ahead.
other than that, Sony was fairly barren. And I was just going to tack on before you go down and discuss your items. Having only watched the trailers of it, it was interesting to see all the things that were coming out, like from the Microsoft event, and then seeing basically a day later the Sony channel posting the same content. Ooh. So it did feel a little bit like somebody made a marketing decision there saying, the gain that we'll get by doing our own of the same content here is not going to be worth the investment.
Yeah. And I haven't watched a lot of those trailers, but I get the sense, with Microsoft. I mean, obviously you've got Call of Duty, which is, apparently it's looking pretty good this year. I haven't watched any of the content.
This is the one I have not watched.
People said it looks pretty good this year, but a lot of the stuff they showed on their show, like, it was very hype generating, but it's like CG trailers, like, it's not... It's like vaporware. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, maybe in 2 years it'll be interesting, but this is what they always do.
I think if you're saying the Xbox with the Gears of War E-Day prequel, I think that statement of, hey, we're going to go back to the roots of Gears of War, and we're not going to do this weird expansion shit where you're flying on wakeboard jet skis anymore. Like, I think that sets a tone and makes a promise. I think that's good, but I'm with you, like, not seeing any gameplay, but that's also like very part and parcel with the two sides of the coin of game announcements we get these days, where it's either like, and it's out now in early access, or here's a CG trailer and then we won't talk about it for another 8 years.
Yeah.
Well, it speaks to kind of, I think, just the we're in the lean times when it comes to big budget stuff, and that I think that hits your Microsoft and your Sony harder. I mean, I do think there is some good third-party stuff in
Absolutely.
the pipeline. I'm eating good on the JRPG front.
Yes.
Like, so much stuff. Metaphor, Ray Fantasio, like that. Just incomprehensible words, but it looks so good. Y'all need to watch that deep dive. It's pretty exciting.
It's like there's like 48 hours of gameplay video out there at this point.
There's like a 20 or 30 minute video with a developer commentary, which is pretty good. But they've shown a lot of the game. But I'm super hyped. There's a lot of like really cool like Evangelion looking creatures. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Biblically accurate angel vibes on everything.
Yes. But yeah, I feel like, not to toot the Nintendo horn again, but Nintendo had a pretty good show.
Well, before we get into Nintendo, let me also just call out the thing that really had me excited from the Xbox side was the Perfect Dark trailer.
Okay. Was that a gameplay trailer? I haven't watched yet.
It was a gameplay trailer. But it was very much like old Call of Duty vibes, first person, like parkour, some light Deus Ex, environmental traversal and pathing. And then when, shit got crazy, it was, first person shooting with looked like some potentially secondary functions on weapons and seeing through walls. And then some, flashes of content of some weird fucking conspiracy theory shit. And I think it's easy to forget that Perfect Dark is like a really weird X-Files ass game. And I'm all in for that. I saw that trailer. I got goosebumps. I was like, fuck yes. I want a first person shooter that is for dinguses like me, but also is like very story driven and very like, conspiracy theory up its own ass silliness. So I'm very excited to see where that game is going, and I'm super excited to see that it's not just dead in the water. But like I had no interest in many of the other first person shooters like the Call of Duty stuff like we talked about earlier, or the new Starfield expansion. God. But yeah, Perfect Dark really, really sang out to me. And I think that's a good segue into Nintendo, because that was a Nintendo franchise at once upon a time.
I just wanted to say that she does, however, have the wrong shaped chin because woke.
Oh, yeah. Feel ya on that one.
I'll have to watch that trailer, Griff. I just kind of assumed that it was going to be like a CG number, and I didn't give it the attention that it needed. So I'll go back and check that out.
Same.
Yes.
But yeah, some good Nintendo stuff. How are we all feeling about that Zelda game starring Zelda? Do we think that's going to be good?
I'm excited.
Excited.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
I like me Zelda spin-offs, like Zelda offshoots, so to speak.
Yeah, I wonder how utterly broken it's going to be. Because it feels like even just having access to, like, a platform will just break the whole
beds.
Game. Yeah,
yes.
Honestly, the beds seem super OP. But
why do you think that when they give us these two massive games in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and you can break them.
Yeah.
But in the course of normal playing, you really don't.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I think there's definitely a Breath of the Wild ethos kind of like backported to 2D, which is interesting.
Yeah. But is that the feeling that people are having, that these games, it's just going to be kind of like weird and janky and gamey? Or I did not get that sense.
I think most people are pretty excited about this game. Like the internet creativity. I think I sent you guys some of the memes. People are they're feeling it. I mean, I think it's very obvious that it's, like not like a super high budget game. Like it's just, Link's Awakening engine. Let's kind of explore some of the like glitchier or unexplored behaviors. Like let's mess around with elevation and stuff. No, I think it looks really cool. I'm super excited about that. But I just was curious where you guys were.
Well, when the trailer started happening and Link like jumped over the sword, I was like, "Oh my god, this is a game changer! You can fucking jump."
No, I felt the same way. I was like, why is Zelda on top of trees? Like those are like the things that delineate the different environments. Like, how is this possible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I was just like, Zelda's got pretty dress.
She do.
I like this.
Yeah.
She a lady.
She do be a lady. No, that looked really cool.
I loved the Link's Awakening remake.
Same here.
That was great.
I thought it was really good.
That engine is really pretty, so I'm looking forward to playing more in that world for sure.
Mm-hmm. Are you guys Mario and Luigi people? I can't remember.
I want to be.
Yeah.
So I am a Mario and Luigi person, and that trailer, I'm still trying to decide how I feel about that trailer, because I think the gameplay looks pretty fun and good. I think the animations are really expressive, but I also can tell that it's like a pretty different team. Like, it's definitely not. So one of the hallmarks of that series is that they're all scored by Yoko Shimomura, and I'm pretty sure this game is not scored by Yoko Shimomura.
Interesting, because that's funny you say that, because I distinctly remember watching that trailer, and the last like 10 seconds I was like, oh my god, thank god Nintendo still gives a shit about game music.
Yes,
because that last little score was coming through, and I was like, yay, beautiful, wonderful, Mario melodies, and it's so nice to hear that. So if you're saying it's a different composer is behind it, that's interesting.
Well, I love that. So I don't know if you were aware, Jamie, or Griffin for that matter. So there was a period of time in like Mario RPG games and just all non-main series Marios where there was something that was kind of informally referred to as the Mario Mandate, which was basically like you cannot introduce new characters in your game. Like you have to just have like Toads and Bowser. So there was kind of an inflection point after Bowser's Inside Story, actually, where the characters in those Mario RPG games would just started just being like Toads. And this applied to like Origami King as well. Like there's very few new characters, and they became extremely stingy about letting external studios add to the world of Mario. And they appear to have reversed that mandate pretty dramatically, which is pretty cool.
That's nice. That'll be refreshing.
Yeah, a lot of people bemoaned that as like a source of significant like creative deadening, and it actually it I see that in a big way because I'm currently playing the Paper Mario Thousand Year Door remake, which has tons of new characters in it and is also extremely good. If you guys have ever had any curiosity about that series at all, I can say emphatically, like I've tried Paper Mario 64 and I've tried this game. This game is leaps and bounds ahead of that game, first of all, and extremely fun, extremely funny, just very good.
I've played I have Thousand Year Door on GameCube. I pick it up and play it once every 2 years. It seems fine. I think for me, it's like, does the remake have like modernization aspects to it?
So
like,
it's pretty similar.
Give a little more oomph?
It is. I mean, it is like it's the Origami King's engine. So it is actually, they did like rebuild the game, but most of the gameplay is pretty comparable. There are a few changes to make it so that there's some backtracking later in the game, which is much less like onerous, but it's pretty much the same game. So if you hated what you were doing there, then you probably won't like this either.
Not hated, just didn't have the compulsion to keep with it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think what grabbed me in this game is the conceit of the game, Jamie, just because you've never played it, right?
No, never. I loved Origami King, and I'm excited to hear that it's in that engine, but no, never played this one.
So the conceit of the game is there's this island called Rogueport, which is like full of like thieves and brigands and stuff, and there's a whole plot involving like an underground city and stuff. But you show up on the island, and what immediately grabbed me is you're talking to a character with Mario, and in the background, you know those weird looking bushy dudes from Super Mario Sunshine?
Yes.
Yes.
So those guys are mobsters, and in the background, they're doing a shakedown, and they're just beating the shit out of someone, and they're like, "This one's for the Don." And I was
That's
like,
amazing.
"This is hilarious!" Like, I was like, "This is like ancillary dialogue that isn't even like you could miss it if you're not paying attention to the background." But I was like, "This is like so like detailed," and there's just so much of that kind of like flourish in this world where it's like everyone has something to say. There's lots of updated new dialogue. It rewards like going back to areas after you've completed them. There's a character who can like tell you like the lore about all the different characters, and it just like consistently hits. Like even like I don't think the humor has been particularly updated since the game came out, but it's all still hilarious. And I'm just very impressed by it across the board.
That sounds delightful.
Yeah, and I remember playing Paper Mario and being like this is like, you know, like you control like two people and like the battles seem kind of basic. There's not a lot going on. Like I don't really feel that interested in what I'm doing, but they have expanded on the battle system in so many different ways that make it feel so much more compelling to play. So I really like it.
What are some ways? Like, is it more interaction, you know, mid-action during battle?
Yep. So, yes. So, there are timed hits, which there were in the first game. But now there additionally are, like, interstitial timing you can do, where they're called stylish actions. So, like, not only can you time every attack, but you can also, like, do a little, like, appeal to the audience. Because every battle literally has an audience watching you, which also interacts with the battle in different ways. Like they can throw shit at you. It's pretty cool. But so like you can kind of appeal to the audience, and so like lots of different button timings that you can press. Also in the first game, you have a partner, but like they're kind of like a half character because like they don't have a health bar and like their actions are not very consequential. In this game, your partner is like a full other party member, and there are quite a few of them. There are actually 7 of them in the whole game, and you can like swap between them mid battle and do all kinds of cool stuff with that. And there's just lots of opportunities for interaction in the course of battle, and like a good difficulty curve. And then there's also this system involving badges, which is like you can essentially like set up your own like kind of custom build, like, and they're pretty impactful. Like they can make the game a lot easier if you kind of know what you're doing, but at the same time, like you can really kind of tweak how you experience the game pretty significantly with these things. So it's pretty cool.
That does sound really cool.
Yeah.
I would definitely want to check that out for sure. It sounds like it has a lot in common with Origami King, which incorporated a lot of those elements.
I think that for the folks who like were kind of disappointed with where Paper Mario had gone, like the anti-Sticker Star crew. Griff, you're a Sticker Star apologist, right?
Absolutely.
Like the only one.
It's a cross-eyed bear as well as Crisis Core.
I was going to say, I have thoughts about that too. Well, specifically Rebirth, but we can touch on that briefly. Yeah, so I think people felt like Origami King was kind of stepping back in the right direction. Still, like, not... I think that people still complain that there was, like, no reason to engage in battles in Origami King because they kind of separated... like, character growth from fighting enemies, right? That was a thing in Origami. Like, you don't gain levels.
It doesn't feel like you don't need to grind before you hit a boss, for example.
But then also, like, at least in Sticker Star and Color Splash, like, fighting battles was actually disadvantageous because you would spend your limited resources.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think this felt like that at all.
Okay, so they improved that in Origami King. I think another complaint, if I recall correctly, in Origami King is that you had partners, but you could only use them in their designated areas.
Oh, I can't remember.
I think that was the case. Yeah, this game just feels like more advanced than any of those games, is what I would say. Which is funny because it came out like 20 years ago. But it's really fun. Would recommend.
Cool.
I have never cared about the Paper Mario series, and now I completely get it. I'm like, yeah, this game's incredible. Very long, too. Quite a meaty game. I'm getting close to the end, but it's like like a 30-hour adventure. Pretty substantial.
Oh, Origami King was huge.
I think it's got to be more than that for slow goers like myself.
Yeah. Also, just a small little detail. As you go through your adventure, Luigi is going through a parallel adventure where he is trying to save Princess Eclair. And every time you complete a chapter, he tells you a story about what he's been up to, and it's hilarious. It's like every time it's like the funniest crap ever, and he always has like a partner who's just very angry at him because he's an idiot. Like he'll talk about like he was in a play where he had to play grass.
Poor Luigi.
It's very funny.
Just can't catch a break.
Well, though it's great because he like brags all the time about his stuff, but then like every time he's telling you a story, Mario just falls asleep in the middle of the story.
That's not the Mario that I know. The Chris Pratt and Charlie Day Marios that happened since we did a podcast last year.
I have seen that movie more than one time. I think I've reached my limit though.
I've still never seen it.
Really?
I want to, yeah.
Okay. It was all right.
It was all right.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a fun time. It was a good romp in the theaters, I think.
Yeah. It was fine.
But anyway, yeah.
I'm excited for Brothership. I think you had touched on whether or not Jamie and I were in that scene, and I've always been like a bystander. Bowser's Inside Story was one of those things where I was like, oh shit, this is one I gotta play. Never got to it.
Oh, so good.
Brothership looks super fun. The mini games look really, really good. Unfortunately for me, I have Mario RPG Remake for the Switch on my to-do list still, so the backlog grows.
Yeah.
So I got to get to that first.
They really stack those Mario RPGs in the back half of the Switch's lifespan, huh?
It's a lot of RPGs in general right now.
It truly is. They must be, I guess, a little less expensive to develop if you target kind of mid-budget.
Perhaps.
I think it's easy to pad, you know.
Y'all excited about that Dragon Quest? I'm excited about that Dragon Quest.
Wait, which one?
That tells me everything I need to know.
I mean, good. I'm not a Dragon Quest person, so I know it means a lot more for you guys than it does for me. So
11S Echoes of a Broken Age was like amazing.
Such a good
but that
game.
was really like the first Dragon Quest that I played. Soup to nuts.
Yeah.
But did they announce 12?
No, so remember when they showed off the HD 2D Dragon Quest 3 like 3 years ago?
Oh, yes.
So they re-revealed it, and actually I watched some video comparing the old to the new, and it is dramatically better.
Good.
It's coming in the holiday this year. I'm pretty excited about it. It looks pretty as hell.
I could go for that.
Yeah, I want to play that.
I really just want 12, though.
Same. I don't think we're seeing it anytime soon, but I do want it. But yeah, any other stuff that we care about from there? Metroid Prime? Anyone?
I was going to say, we kind of bypassed the big announcement there, but I don't know if any of us are really primers.
I bought the remake and I
Prime
played
time.
it for 2 seconds, and I was like, this is amazing. And I don't know why I didn't play it through. Jeff, did you play the remake?
I did. I played about, I'd say, like 5 hours of it. I really liked it. I just kind of like got distracted by other games. I thought it was the first time that I've kind of understood why Metroid Prime is good.
I agree.
And because I have tried to play that series before and not cared. But that was extremely good, and but for all accounts, like this is the same engine. So I probably will care about it at some point. I feel like I have enough kind of on the horizon for me that it's not like the first thing I'm thinking about.
Yeah, Jeff, you said it when you said, like, okay, if this is like the cross-platform launch title or one of the two for Switch and Switch 2, like, okay, that probably means I'll be playing it as well, but it's never appealed to me.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. So there are people in my life who are very like they don't pay attention to games at all, but they are super into certain Nintendo products like Smash and so on. And like
normies.
Normies. The day of the Direct, which I did not know was happening. I got like multiple texts from multiple people being like Prime 4, and people just assume that because I like video games, like I know instantly that Prime 4 was shown again, and I don't know. It's always interesting to me the types of games that those normies are drawn to.
How many of those people were like, oh, my pre-order? Because I got one of those.
I didn't get any of those.
Oh, I thought you were saying you got a pre-order for Prime 4.
No, I got a message, just like you're describing, Jamie, of somebody being like, oh, my pre-order's still good.
If they jack the price up to 70 bones, hopefully they can get it at a cheaper price.
Ooh, good point. Hey, there is one noticeable absence in our discussion here that's not Nintendo, Xbox, or whatever.
What's that?
Your guys' favorite series, Dragon Age, the Veilguard, was shown.
Oh yeah, I watched like the beginning of that gameplay video. It looked gorgeous. I mean, I'm ready to be excited about that. I haven't watched the combat yet though.
Was
I
it
still
not
wear
just
my Dragon Age socks.
CG trailer?
No, they showed an extended gameplay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just got the CG
good.
then.
You said it looks good, Jamie?
Yeah, the combat in particular. I really like I was just staring at some screenshots of just the combat system, and I just like the visual language that they're using.
Same.
And it was still evocative of the previous game, which came out who God knows when.
So long ago, like 10 years ago.
But clear and exciting looking and different from other games like it, which is good.
The little bit of world building I saw from the beginning of that gameplay look, where like there was like the city with the like Eye of Sauron watching over it, looked sick as hell.
Yeah. I am excited for that for sure.
You guys
I like that character, the bald guy. I like him a lot.
Solus or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
You guys have intrigued me. I'm gonna go seek out a gameplay video of it because I don't give a shit about Dragon Age.
The thing is, it's been long enough that I feel like, you could absolutely probably jump in here and maybe have a good time. I'm hoping that there's some meat on the bones for the combat. Did it feel like there would be meat on the bones, Jamie? Or did it feel pretty rote?
I don't think it's rote, but I don't think it's going to be. I would be pleasantly surprised if it were difficult, but I did not get that sense.
Okay, I mean,
I think there will be cool things to do.
Yeah.
But I feel like in a world where games like Hades and Hades 2 are calling my name more, I do feel like I'm asking more from combat systems and getting less.
Yeah.
Even in games like FF7, and so like...
Also Hades 2, very good. Forgot about that game.
Oh my god.
Real freaking good.
So freaking good.
Jamie, that exact sentiment you're saying is how I feel about... I like Dragon Age 2 because of the different like storylines and characters that came through it. I mean, the combat was so-so and fairly simple, so return to that, great. But also, for me, if they're shifting more to like a, hey, we're going to bring back that good old Dragon Age storytelling, I am well satisfied with my excursion into Baldur's Gate 3. So I do not need any more fantasy trope exploration. I do not need any more of that. I'm well fed with that.
I felt like when I watched
makes sense.
when I watched that trailer, I didn't feel like I was watching any old fantasy game. Like I felt like I was watching something with some cool ideas out the gate.
If you're just the kind of person that groups, all high fantasy stuff together, which is totally valid, then I think I could totally see that. I'm with Jeff though. I do get the sense that this is like different. I don't get the sense that the humor is nearly anywhere near the... I mean, it's hard to match the humor in BG3, but I don't get the sense that like that humor is there. I don't get the sense that that world is there in the exact same way. The other thing, Griff, is that you played D&D, so you get that.
Yeah. You
get that in greater doses.
Whereas I have no exposure to that.
Yeah. Well, I think Baldur's Gate 3 is like a fantastic parallel for D&D 2 of what you're getting and how to put that into a video game. Mm-hmm. So if you've played that, you're getting a lot of that exposure, and I can't imagine what a RPG is going to be doing, a fantasy RPG is going to be doing that isn't already done exceedingly well by BG3.
That was a pretty singular game, yeah.
I kind of, when I look at what I've seen from the new Dragon Age game, what it kind of seems like to me is, what if you're the kind of person that starts BG3, is intrigued, but then gets overwhelmed? Like that's who I feel like they're targeting this new Dragon Age game towards, and maybe Dragon Age games in general. Like, what if the options in BG3 were pared down like 80%? Mm-hmm. What would that look like?
That
both
could be
combat
appealing.
And story-wise.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And I think you're right to proceed with caution, Griff, because, I mean, obviously, BioWare has been eviscerated. So, like, who knows who's... Like, I know there are a couple creatives there that are still, linked to the series, but it's been through a lot as a studio.
Yeah,
sure.
I look at it, I don't carry any, like, preconceived notions about what I might expect, because I just have no idea who's driving, the car.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yeah.
But I felt excited about that. So
I'm more excited about the Star Wars game that's the other EA product this year than.
Wait, you're not talking about the Ubi one?
Yes, the Ubisoft one.
The Rogue one or whatever.
The
Outlaws.
Yeah,
I think it's called Outlaws.
Outlaws. There you go. Yeah, Star Wars Outlaws. I'm intrigued by it. I didn't watch any of the most recent gameplay of it. But I'm looking for a good, fun Star Wars game.
I had heard that it felt pretty Ubisoft in the gameplay reveal.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
I haven't watched it either, but that's kind of what I saw rumblings about. I'm kind of allowing myself to care about the latest Assassin's Creed, if only because the set dressing and characters seem really cool.
I'm hoping that is a new standard for Ubisoft product. Less map barf, more interesting, character engagement. I think that there is some of that in the prior Assassin's Creed games, but it just got so memeable in a negative way that you really lost any of... I don't know. What am I... I liked a lot of the Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah, no, there's been times when that series has really been... I think what happens is it does something cool and then it kind of retreads it over and over again until it feels tired. Like that's...
But except with the... not to interrupt you, Jeff, but I feel like... I actually feel that with oh God, what was the
Odyssey?
one? with Odyssey, but what was the one before Odyssey? Origins, yeah. I feel like with those two, they like introduced these really cool RPG mechanics.
Totally.
Those two games had such a cohesive kind of combat system and way to go about things. It was present in Origins and then really blown out in Odyssey, and I played the poopy out of both of them. And then they were like, okay, we're done with that. And I was surprised by that.
Was Valhalla not?
It was not.
More of that? Oh, interesting.
It was not to the same extent. There were echoes. It almost felt like a step backward in terms of like even pre-Odyssey, in terms of that level of stuff. There were bases, which was kind of cool, but it felt like they took out a lot of the RPG combat elements that made Odyssey so fun, and then replaced it with like base building.
Yeah. And
then you got something that was much closer to Origins. But I was just surprised that it really. I guess you could conceive of those three games as kind of a lineage in and of themselves, but I was surprised that they would pick that up with such vigor and then kind of just set it down. I'm actually thankful. Like, is that restraint? Is that?
I think they're trying. I think they're trying to figure out what it means to be a long running series, for Assassin's Creed, right? Like, but yeah, Odyssey was a great game. Like, I loved Odyssey. I mean, I love
Odyssey.
It had flaws, absolutely, but like. Really fun to play and full of just memorable, cool shit.
And The Lost Crown is like best of this year, right? Like to me.
That's new Prince of Persia that you're talking about? Another Ubisoft game?
Oh yeah, Lost Crown was incredible. You played that all the way through? Jimmy?
I totally subconsciously same franchise in my head. Oh man,
that was a hell of a game though. It's on my list and extremely good. Worth your time.
What a wonderful.
Yeah. Definitely.
I haven't finished it yet, but it's just so breathtaking.
Definitely, when it was announced, kind of looked like a mobile game, and definitely has some jank in it, which I honestly am fine with because I'm like, good on you, Ubi, for not polishing the edges because you need to do that sometimes. Get the product out the door.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Really good game. Oh, so fun.
Yeah.
What makes it so fun? Like without, I mean. We're on a time constraint here, but what's really
Can I make a bold statement, Jeff?
Make a bold statement.
Can I make a bold statement that is going to turn Griffin right off?
Yes.
Do
it. Going to turn him right off.
Better in VR.
No. What if Hollow Knight had Donkey Kong Country Returns jumps?
You're kind of right.
You are correct in me becoming disinterested.
You're kind of right. No, it actually, I'd say of the Metroidvanias out there, which it is one, it does feel more Hollow Knight than some of the other. I wouldn't say it's Hollow Knight, but the map is really big and full of interesting secrets, and it is not a 2-hour game. It is like a 20-hour game.
In real person language, Griffin, it's a 30 or 40 hour.
The story is like the story and lore are like surprisingly good. I was really kind of floored. I was expecting something kind of dumb, and I was like, this is actually like I care about this. Some really nice kind of effortless ethnic representation, I think. It just never at any time feels like, oh, we're like checking a box. It's like, this is like, we really care about this culture and world.
It's confident, it's poised, there isn't a lot of chaff.
Yeah.
And it rolls with changes that even I wouldn't have perceived liking. Like if you had told me, hey, Hollow Knight plus Donkey Kong Country Returns jumps, I'd be like, no, the whole point of Hollow Knight is that you feel kind of you fall fast.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole point of Hollow Knight. But they totally make it work. And it's an interesting kind of thing. It does kind of stand alone in the world of Metroidvania.
I agree.
To me in terms of how it feels to play.
And I think that like a lot of Metroidvanias, the fun part is exploring the world, right? And I think sometimes when a Metroidvania tries to beef up its combat, I feel like that's a mistake. But I feel like this game manages to have extremely satisfying combat experiences without compromising the game, and perhaps to the credit or like the improvement of the game, which is so rare in this particular genre. Okay.
Back in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And like you have to in the way that Doom Eternal could not, encourage you to do. You really do need to use every weapon in your arsenal. But not in a frustrating way.
No.
I think that the ramping up to the encounter with the boss, where you need to use every weapon in your arsenal, adequately prepares you for using every weapon in your arsenal.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. And I like to hear that.
It does the Hollow Knight because it's a Dark Soul, right? Where you die, you can get your echoes back or whatever. Like it does some of that, which is great. There's a parry. It's real freaking good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was already planning on playing it. because of your guys's and Colin's praise for it. So I'm happy to hear that. I'm a little scared of it being something like a 30-hour game, but we'll see.
You can dip in and out.
I do have to say though, speaking of Metroidvania games, Animal Well, what you guys think about the Animal Well? Because I had a bad time.
I thought it was pretty good. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be.
I'm pretty non-committal, but only because I haven't played very much of it. I really dig the way it looks. I really dig the way it sounds, and I also like how it feels. But I was not prepared mentally for the lightness of the weapons. Like just kind of the, it doesn't feel like. Usually with a Metroidvania, they introduce a new jumping mechanic or a new weapon, and you really feel like, okay,
this changes how I interact with the world.
This changes everything. And then with this game, it does not feel that way, which is good and bad, right? Because if you don't feel that way when you get a new weapon or a traversal mechanic in a Metroidvania game, it encourages you to push your boundaries a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, in previous Metroidvania games, you come up against a jump you can't make, you immediately turn back. And you just tell yourself, I don't have this ability yet, I'll come back later.
Yep.
With Animal Well, I feel like you're always kind of skirting the edge of what you can do. So instead of immediately turning back, you're like, well, what if I just try to game this a little bit?
Yeah, I had that exact experience, Jamie. I had to reach out I had to phone a friend and be like, is this a skill issue or do I not have a tool that's allowing me to progress? Mm-hmm. So I had to have that help because I had... to summarize your statement, I think Animal Well is a very good Metroidvania game academically, but playing it is not enjoyable.
I enjoyed playing it, and I would even say, it's one of those games, right? I feel like every one of these like modern indie games has to have like a meta game. Like after you beat the game, like you have to go online and freaking decode the IR scanner shit. And it's like I don't want to, but. Up until that point, I actually had a pretty good time and rather organically came upon a lot of that stuff. And I don't know if that's just because like I like the genre, whatever. But like, I do agree with your assessment though, Jamie. Like some of the items were cool and had these kind of hidden functions that could make them really powerful, but some of them were just kind of duds.
Just going off of your comment, which I think is really astute, or both of your comments, but. Specifically with the art style of this game and the needing to, indie devs feeling like there needs to be a hidden message, but then like really hiding that message so as to actually convey that there is no hidden message. Yeah. It's like, I feel like indie games need and I'm thinking this just because I have talking heads on the brain at the moment, but I feel like indie games need their talking heads moment where there needs to be like a Dadaist, like, there doesn't need to be a hidden message, and we can just revel in the weirdness kind of thing. Like, I need more of that in my indie game art style and story.
Okay, well, if you want to revel in the weirdness, can I just say, y'all absolutely need to play Loralie and the Laser Eyes.
Oh, I want to so bad. We're trying to get through Chants of Sennaar first, which is great, but I have my eye on that.
You really should. I played it. It's very rare that Jessica wants to join in or even observe a game, and she got involved in some of the puzzles in this game. I would say it's a pretty pure puzzle game in terms of the actual gameplay, but the world and kind of the engagement with the world is... Honestly, Twin Peaks is like, that gets thrown around a lot, but it feels so Twin Peaks in the ways that it should, right? Not in the ways that like you put on the back of a box. It does this thing like where like, well, first I'll talk about some of the controversial elements in a minute, but so it does this thing where like, so it very clearly draws a lot of cues from Resident Evil, and that every environment you walk into is sort of staged camera-wise in a certain kind of way. But like from the jump, like you'll be walking in a pathway and like the camera will be situated like askance so that you're a little bit on an angle. And it does such cool framing with the different environments that you're walking through that just create this very uneasy feel. And it has a very striking visual direction too, right? It's very, he leans heavily into kind of like a grayscale with a couple of pops of like red and purple.
Are we talking like PS1 RPG and horror camera
1000%.
Okay.
1000%.
Excellent.
Literally, and I don't want to spoil anything about this game because it unfolds in some really cool ways, but very clearly RE1 inspired through and through. The conceit is you are exploring like an abandoned mansion, trying to figure out what the hell is going on, solving puzzles as you go. But like from the jump, you're going to feel the vague sense of threat. And in fact, the game starts, you park your car at the mansion, and if you go into the glove box, you can find the instruction manual for the game, and you'll be like reading it, and then you come upon some red text that's like, if you, like, you can die. And like there's you can die and you will lose your progress. So like just know that. So you're gonna feel like a little on edge from the start, and that never really wanes. Like that feeling of vague threat never goes away. But as a person who can't handle horror games, like I did actually get legitimately a little bit spooked at times, but never tore me away from the game. Partly because I so wanted to learn more about this world and these characters, but also partly just because it's never that scary. But
can I ask you a big question that's going to be a deal breaker if you say yes?
Yeah.
So just say no, regardless of what the answer is. Is there a Master of Unlocking reference in the game?
Is there a Loralie sandwich?
No, they're neither of those. That would turn you off.
Good.
Huh?
Yeah.
I mean, I think at this point that would turn anyone off.
It's a bit. I guess it's a bit facile, but no, it's not that kind of game. I feel like that Crow game that you probably heard about, which is very strongly inspired by Resident Evil, and actually looks quite good. I'll look up the name of it later, but that game probably has a Master of Unlocking reference, and it probably should because it's like a parody of Resident Evil. No, this game.
But that's okay if it's a straight up and down parody.
Yeah.
But if it's anything else,
no, this is not that at all. Like it definitely is an homage, and it's a clear homage, but no, it's not. It does reference gaming, but it does not reference any one gaming franchise in a way that would detract from the world. The world building in this game is so good. The intrigue that sort of unfolds across the plot of the game is really good too. The music is really good. It has these like strangely affecting moments that just kind of pop up out of nowhere. Like imagine like maybe being like a little teared up after just like randomly solving a puzzle. Like that will happen to you.
What's that game of the year deck building roguelike horror game whose name I can't remember?
Inscription?
Yeah, is it that kind of vibes?
There are some elements that you will that cross over with that, but this is more of like a straight puzzle game. Like you're
Gotcha.
opening a lot of opening doors, and solving puzzles in rooms. But like I said, just the way the lore unfolds and kind of the way that the environment reveals itself to you and kind of is in and of itself does storytelling is so cool.
Cool.
When I look at, so you've brought it up a couple times, Jeff, and I've Googled it because it was not on my radar, and I see it, and I'm like, God, this looks so much like Killer 7, which I have some very sour memories with, despite it being a very well-regarded game. Not for the game's fault, but just for other reasons. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I can do this, but you're really selling me on it.
It's not Killer 7. I mean, you control the same protagonist.
No, it certainly doesn't look like it, just art style wise.
Yeah. I mean, I like the art style. I think it's compelling from the jump, and it, even if you don't immediately love it, it does continue to grow on you.
Cool.
It does this cool thing with dialogue where, like, probably to save money, but also I think to great effect, it uses like kind of like flickering still images to sort of portray dialogue, or like images with small motion in them, but it doesn't actually ever show like the characters moving around in cutscenes, and I think it works really well. They kind of feel like silent movie stills, like it'll overlay the dialogue on there. Also, there is an Italian guy who says hilarious things like Mr. Bob Hamburger to refer to an American. It just so many, like, it has in that way, like, it has those amazing like non sequitur strangeness bits that punctuate the world of like Twin Peaks. Like it's really good. So a lot of people have complained because it was designed as a one button game, so there is no cancel button. You have to go down to the bottom of a menu to go back, but just kind of be aware that you're going to run into that early and you'll get used to it.
Quick aside, just that you made me think of. The only reason I watched this is because Tim Rogers on the Instant Credit podcast, the only video game podcast that I still listen to, kept talking about this show week after week. So I finally watched Ripley on Netflix. Have you guys seen this?
It has the priest from Fleabag in it.
Ripley's Believe It or Not?
It's based on The Talented Mr. Ripley. It's a 8 or 10 episode, I can't remember. Just watch it. It's so good.
Okay. Does it go places?
So good. I mean, it's The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Okay.
So it's a story that you've seen and heard before, but it's just shot and acted in such like a freaking amazing way. The way Tim Rogers described it is that every movie and show these days is shot like a video game, which he does not like. And this is like one of the few things that is shot not
what a
like
weird
that.
Ass statement.
Yeah.
He's a weird dude, but
a weird dude.
No shit, but I take umbrage with that.
Yeah.
So, but okay.
But watch it and you might not agree with that statement. I'm not sure if I do, but you will at least identify that, it's black and white. So that's the obvious difference, but just also the framing, it just does look significantly different from anything modern. And it's good. You guys should watch it.
I just want to say, Tim Rogers, definitely, I think the best way to consume Tim Rogers is audio or video. Because I think some of his self-deprecation comes through in a way that disarms some of the long-form bullshit he spouts.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And also when he has other people to call
poke
him
some
out.
holes in him, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I just wanted to say, without giving too much away about Loralie, because it really is just a special experience. The sort of reality of the world sort of unfurls, and you're interacting on levels beyond purely the mansion, is what I will say. So like that's not the only space you're going to be messing around in. That's where I'll leave that.
Okay.
Really good game.
Okay, so tell me this. I know this is an impossible choice, but which one do I play first? Loralie and the Laser Eyes, or Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown?
I'd say Loralie.
Okay.
Loralie will get done quicker.
Okay.
And it just feels more contained. Prince of Persia you could probably play off and on during, but I don't know. I just really like that game a lot.
How come Chants of Sennaar wasn't in that choice, Griff?
That's a good question.
Chants of Sennaar. Is that a character in The Witcher or in
Yes.
the Dragon Age?
Chance the Rapper?
No, Chants of Sennaar is a wonderful puzzle game. Chants of...
Chant.
Yeah, Chance. The worst game name ever. Like, the first 30 times I heard it described, I thought it was Chance with a C-E at the end. But no, it's Chants of Sennaar. It's an amazing puzzle game. Jeff was nice enough to get me both Chants of Sennaar and Loralie and the Laser Eyes at the same time. I wanted to get Chants of Sennaar out of the way first. Shannon and I are playing that together, and it's really, really good. I don't know if it's like
It looks cool. It looks beautiful.
But I've never played a game with this mechanic in it, and I'm curious, Jeff, if you have. So basically, you are, in media res dropped into this fantasy world, and you have no idea what's going on, and there are groups of people who are speaking different languages, and you have to, through context clues, piece together the language so that you can communicate with them and understand what they're saying and progress the story and figure out what the hell is going on. And it uses this wonderful system where you can take a guess as to what you think the word is based on context clues, and then you can operate on that assumption, and it remembers your guess. You type it in, and you go throughout the world, and you operate on that assumption, and as you operate on that assumption, you gain new information, you unlock new doors, you speak to new people, and at a certain point, the game will tell you by showing you, and this is completely conveyed without language, which is one of the most wonderful things about it. Not completely, but mostly conveyed without language. Once you've collected enough context clues, the game will present you with essentially like a Rosetta Stone, where there's a picture of the action happening, and then an area where you insert the symbol. And if you insert it correctly, then it officially translates it, and then you have that. And then it will always fill that in correctly in every situation. But the trick with the game is there are multiple languages. Early in the game, there's a priest class of people and a warrior class of people. They seem opposed, and it becomes clear just through the symbols that they're using that they are speaking completely different languages. And the game is about, translating between them and figuring out what's going on. It's such a cool conceit. I don't think that's ever been really done that way before.
I don't think so.
Have you guys? It's really cool.
It sounds like Tunic in some of that, which I'm very tired of, but I'm seeing here 6 to 10 hours, and that is the sheer focus of the game, and that makes me a lot more interested in it.
Also, I'm very sad because Tunic is an incredible game.
It's good.
It's so good.
Fez was better.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bold. Phil Fish smiling. He listens every week. But
every year.
No, he actually tunes in every week just to see.
Oh no, Phil, I'm sorry.
Philip Wesson.
No, it's not a platformer. So you look at screenshots and stuff and you feel like it's a platformer a little bit. It really isn't. It's just a puzzle game.
Yeah.
And really what you're doing is filling in these context clues, and it's pretty cool. It's a great wife girlfriend SO game because one of you can be moving the character and the other can have the keyboard and type in guesses and whatnot. And so it's really fun.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I've been seeing the banners for it and catching it as like a trending game, and I was like, okay, this is going to be another iOS puzzle solve walkie guy to flip the screen upside down and you make him, translate the landscape or something, and I was dismissing it. So the fact that you're saying like it's a language deciphering game first and foremost has me very, very interested now.
I would say only. I mean, you are moving a character around and you are solving puzzles. There are items that you pick up and then you insert into other items. But
nice.
Really, you...
Story of my life, am I right?
Now we're, the human condition.
But really, it's just, and I actually feel bad because it's a little bit of a spoiler because the symbols are so esoteric that at first you're not exactly sure of that. But then it becomes obviously clear. But and the difficulty ramp up seems really interesting and challenging. Like ways that you wouldn't imagine that are things that you trip up. Again, just really early game things that are not spoilers, but like just using... But that like trips you up because you don't understand that at first. Things like that. And it's cool.
Sweet.
Yeah, I definitely.
All right, cool.
I definitely am interested. I'll put it on my list again. Sorry to. Are you all set with Chants, Jamie?
Yeah.
I was curious. You mentioned just in passing FF7 maybe not grabbing you.
I'm really really liking it. I'm still playing it. I did the. Oh my god, my brain is not working today, guys. The beach.
So I'm in the Mithril Caves, so please don't spoil anything for me. Yeah. I've been navigating those waters very carefully.
Yeah, the beach, Costa del Sol.
Yeah, I did that. I'm enjoying it. I think that unfortunately, sadly, surprisingly, I think that for me personally, without speaking about specifics, I think that the game loop is wearing thin.
That's valid. You have to really enjoy the combat. And also, I mean, maybe you don't enjoy the other stuff you have to do.
No, I kind of, what's so funny? I kind of enjoy it all. You know what? The first remake really drew me in. And it was just such like I was like enchanted. And it just pulled me through. This game, very much more in the style of RPGs that I like. Speaking of Dragon Quest XI's, like I feel like part of the allure of that game, and as I understand it, Dragon Quest in general, is that it's really just an excuse to chill with your buds. Yeah. Like and that's what this game is, and that's wonderful.
Have you heard of Final Fantasy 7 or Final Fantasy 15? The ultimate bud chilling game.
Cindy wants to chill, but she's not allowed because she got titties.
Not allowed. No goals allowed.
But Jeff, you're loving it?
Oh, I beat it. Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was, how can I explain it? So excessive. So over the top. Jam-packed. Too much. The best.
I think I agree with you. Like every time we get a little bit more than we got in the OG, and it's just dumb. I'm like, yes, this is exactly what it should have been.
As I have joked around with my friend, I'm a complete Chad cell.
Yeah.
I am. If Chadley has one fan, I am one of them. If Chadley has no fans, I'm dead.
But I'm having this reaction where it's like, I don't like or understand Queen's Blood, and and I feel like I am shocked at how much the game needs you to play hours and hours and hours of Queen's Blood.
It's more contained than Triple Triad.
Well, Jeff, you're a high IQ individual. I am not, and if you're a normie like me, you need to play a lot of Queen's Blood to even understand like what the hell is going on.
I gotta help you make a deck that you can just kind of coast through most of the game with.
Yeah, I found that helps.
Just
do the same tactic.
Make a buff deck. That's pretty okay for the whole game.
That worked until about the chapters that are coming right after where you are, Griff.
Okay.
Right?
I'll buckle my ass up.
You're missing a few. You're talking about when there's a series of matches you need to participate in. Yeah. You don't have to win those, by the way.
Yes.
That's the problem. Yeah. You probably just need to tweak a couple of maybe some more lower level monsters. I think the higher level ones are kind of traps.
I mean, I watched 3 hours of YouTube videos,
my God,
and
why?
Now I have a couple decks that work.
That makes me very sad.
I don't know. It was just one of those things where it's like, I think because I resented that it was making me do it, my brain refused to grok it. But at this point, I've just about been Stockholm Syndrome.
Okay.
And I've kind of come
Did you
around
enjoy, without providing any information about what you're describing that would help Griffin, did you enjoy the very strange reference to a bygone pop star that occurred during that segment?
I missed it.
Featuring, I'll just say MJ. A little bit of an MJ reference.
I think I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? So,
I think
perfect example of this game taking a thing, turning it up to 500, and it being so dumb but so good.
Yeah.
I mean, just if it's speaking of the Queen's Blood game, like the just half-second vignette before the match takes place and just the quirkiness of the characters, I'm absolutely adoring. Like, it's my kind of stupid.
Yes.
It's Cloud's sword gets stuck in the doorframe energy. Like, it's so fucking funny every time you battle one of these dipshits. It is a treat.
It's big Pokemon energy, right?
It is.
Everyone is like, I believe
It's
through the
very
100
anime.
cards we can
It gets
unite
so
the world.
the conclusion of the Queen's Blood arc, because it is an arc, is anime as fuck, and it is so funny.
I have gotten hints so when I got my first real hint of that, which I think happens in June, I was like, yes, please.
It's
Yas, Queen's Blood.
it's not cards games on motorcycles, but it might as well be.
Yeah.
No, I feel that, Jamie. I think it can be a little exhausting, that game.
Yeah.
Understandable. I mean, I'm having a hard time picking it back up after I started playing it and then put it down for driving home Baldur's Gate 3 this year. So that's where I'm at right now is having cleared that and a couple other games. Now I'm just trying to get honed back into it and dedicating the time to get through it.
It's a big boy.
But it's good.
Yeah.
I'm liking it.
It's a big boy. I absolutely loved it. It's one of my games of the year for sure.
I got to get to the end because I keep seeing spoilers.
No.
And I've avoided it. I don't know what.
I love how different all the characters feel opposed. I mean, like from what I played from the last game in comparison, you played Tifa, and Tifa felt fucking cool as hell because it was like a totally different beat 'em up game to cloud.
Yeah.
And now playing this game, each character definitely has their own kind of tool set,
Absolutely.
move set that feels fully fleshed out. Like playing Aerith is so much fun. Picking up even anybody is really cool, and they all feel unique and special and well designed.
And I thought
I don't get Red 13. Can you explain Red 13
No,
to me,
I don't.
please?
I don't.
No,
use
I
him.
can't
I don't
either.
use him because that requires you to guard, and I ain't about that life. I will say the synergy attacks. I thought they would be so confusing, but they're not that bad.
Okay, I'm still struggling with
I don't really do the ones where you hold down the trigger, but I do the ones where you just have characters use actions to accumulate charges, and then you can use attacks.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
The trigger ones I only use because some of them can launch your character in the air, which helps for the airborne enemies. Mm-hmm. So that's just like hold the button and press square, and then you get launched in the air.
Love it.
But yeah, I think I like the combat. I think the combat is pretty well done in that game. But yeah,
I agree. 100%.
I think it's an improvement on the first the first remake, and that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
You take a good thing and make it better. Yeah. I'm all for it. I'm
really excited for that third game to come out before Square Enix is like, oh, we can't make games anymore.
Uh-oh.
Because I think this was a sales disappointment, I seem to recall. That's what they said.
Really?
Yeah. We brought up Square earlier, and I think that they've been really struggling.
They're going
recently.
Through it. Yeah, they're just figuring out what the hell they need to do. I mean, I think their output is actually quite good right now. I think I never cared about 16. I didn't want to play it, but most of the other stuff they're putting out, I think is probably the best it's been in a long time. But
I think critically their content has been well received.
Yeah.
They're just not getting the explosive bangers that they're probably expecting on paper from years past.
Yeah, but I think even just playing through Rebirth, I was like, this is like, Square has not been this good in a long ass time. But yeah, they need the money. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
So
more Kingdom Hearts.
there you go.
That'll fix it.
Did y'all see the picture of Kevin Hart holding a Keyblade?
No.
I'll send it to you guys.
Okay.
It occurred in real life. It's not a Photoshop.
Oh yeah, much better.
Yeah, no. To be clear, there's not a deep fake. But anyway,
you guys play anything else fun this year or last?
I mean, Hades 2 is
Hades
amazing.
2 is so good. Griff, are you waiting, or are you already playing it?
Neither. I'm not. I wasn't really a Hades guy, so
Okay, that's
I don't
fair.
think Hades 2 is gonna really sell me. I'll
It won't.
Yeah.
It will not. It's the same. I mean, it's a little different. Like there's different quirks with the combat, which I'm still kind of coming to terms with, but it's the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have nothing
I'm
against
coming-
it. I'm just kind of tired of the roguelike.
Yeah. No, it's fair. Balatro, y'all play that yet?
Yes.
Oh, so good.
Game of the year.
I don't.
I'm afraid.
It doesn't have the legs for me that it's had for other people. Like I think I'm good, but what I
sure.
played of it was really fun.
Yes. Anytime I can play a deck builder and I don't have to be a fucking savant to enjoy it, and I can just like ham fist my way through it, find a fun little tactic and run, like I'm having a great time. It has Inscription energy in that regard.
Yeah.
It's based on a real card game, so it's very approachable. I love it. Balatro is very wonderful.
I think Balatro's the biggest compliment you can give Balatro is that it turns math into something fun. Because that's the whole game is math. Like,
I mean, isn't that
it's true for all of them, but like this one feels to me even more obviously like math because literally you're just staring at cards with numbers on them. Like the 9 card or the 8 card. Like it's there aren't that many layers of obfuscation, and most of what you're doing is just watching big number get bigger. But it does it very well.
It does. It does. There's definitely some strategy too
absolutely.
in enhancing your cards.
Yeah.
And it being, like I said, I just said I don't like roguelikes, but this one really landed for me just because of like it doesn't have that compulsion like so many other roguelikes do where it's like, okay, well, like I have to play 10 or 15 hours into it to start really unlocking like a meaningful playthrough. This is like just go and have fun.
Also, there's literally, if you go into settings, you can just click unlock all and you get everything.
Oh, that's cool. But I won't.
Jamie, you know the whole vibe of this game. Yeah.
I just haven't. I haven't.
Okay.
I'm a little
Yeah.
afraid.
So poker-based roguelike, really fun, very approachable, pretty simple. Your goal is just to essentially like hack the game and tweak your cards and accumulate these like special Joker cards that buff your winnings to get higher and higher pots to beat lines. That's how you beat the game. But animations are so good. Everything's chunky. Everything counts up in a way that's really compelling. The music, I feel like, Griff, have you listened to the music yet?
I did.
It's like you're entering the Gamble Zone. It's like, welcome to Gamble Zone. You're here forever. It's perfect.
Wait, like Casino Nights?
Kinda. A little bit.
Okay.
It's just like, we're gonna vibe now. We're gonna vibe with cards.
I feel like when people describe it, my reaction is like, I already have Vampire Survivors. Like,
It's different.
That's
why?
very apt. To me, it has that same energy of like, I can just engage. I can engage on this in a very primal level, and I kind of need that sometimes.
Obviously, I know it's a card game versus whatever
Humorously,
Vampire Survivors is,
I
but-
actually think Vampo has more of like a progression and user input than Balatro does, even though it's an auto game. Would you agree with that, Griff?
I don't know. I mean, I think the energy that I get from it is both games are very player empowerment first and success first. So I like that quite a bit. It's a nice change of pace. But yeah, I don't know.
I think Vampire Survivors has more metagame, which I actually like
That's
quite
true.
a bit. I think it's a fun metagame, but and I don't just mean like the best build, but I mean like unlocking stuff and progressing through stages. Balatro is pretty much like what you start with is what you're gonna be doing. You do unlock stuff, but it's like this is the game. Like it's pretty like here it is. Like here's your product. Go to town.
Can I ask a question? An unrelated question?
Yeah.
Why are none of us playing Shadow of the Erdtree?
Because it came out Thursday and I haven't had time yet, I guess. I don't know.
Same.
But are you guys, it's on your list. You guys are going to do
Kind
it?
of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. I mean, I can wait because I have so many
Yeah.
other fucking games to play.
I'm a little daunted with like remembering how to be in a Souls game again. I'm gonna like pick up my OP character build and be like, how do I do this?
Do you have to? So I never beat. I mean, I played. Oh God, my brain, guys! Oh my God, Elden Ring. I played Elden Ring a lot. I haven't beaten it.
You don't need to have beaten it, but you need to have
Progress to a certain point.
the stuff that you do to unlock it. I'm pretty sure I did maybe after beating the game. You don't have to do it after you beat the game, but it is end game.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think it's
gotcha.
something that you can't just turn on and run to right away. You have
Did
to
you
do some
go to
progression.
Jamie? Did you go to an underground blood zone? Played a lot of Blood Boys.
I must not have because it's
I've-
not
I've-
ringing a
That's
bell.
where you need to. Have
Yeah, I
gone.
put that off until later too.
I went to a snow. I got to the snow,
wow.
and then some invisible things were
That's a-
hurting me.
Oh, the snow is
I
very
said-
close to the end.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold up. Invisible things. Oh, that's quite
You're
close.
a back third easy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I should just go
you
for
should
it.
just
I
go
would
for
just
it.
grab, if you don't even want to go to finish the game at that point, I would just say go and look up where to go and try
Yep.
the DLC because
It should be accessible to you at this
Exactly.
point. Yeah. Also, the underground world in that game is so freaking good. Oh, I love that. So big. Everything in that game's so big.
I mean, that game was like a religious experience for me. That was such a good game, even though I didn't finish it. When you guys know I don't finish it.
I did die like 30 times on the first boss, which is kind of what happens to me every time I play a Souls game. I'm like, they done changed the game. I can't do this anymore. And then I figure it out and I can play the game. But it's always a rite of passage for me.
I'm with
Yeah.
you, Jeff. There is a little bit of trepidation that I have in picking it back up and getting back to it, especially with that statement of it being like, hey, it's not, you can't just steamroll it if you're on New Game Plus. Like, it's gonna take some skill to
I'm okay with that. I think I'd almost rather that it had just started from a blank slate. Like, I'm a little disappointed that it wasn't just another world that they drop you into.
It sounds like it more or less is, right?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter
what you bring in. Yeah. I don't know. I will. I mean, I'm excited about it. I just haven't yet.
Exactly. I got too many other things to play right now. Like, a bunch of games. Like Stellar Blade. Did you guys play Palworld? 11, Jeff? 11 Palworld?
Absolutely
No?
not. I will not be playing that game.
No?
Nope. It's like all the things I don't care about. Like, what if Pokemon, but it was Minecraft?
And guns.
I'm like, nope. Do not care. I don't know. Do you feel anything about that, Jamie? Do you want to play Palworld?
I do not want to play Palworld, but what I do want to play is the Crow game that you mentioned before, which I'm hoping is Crow Country because I'm watching a video of it right now, and it just looks so frickin'
That
good.
sounds right to me. It's supposed to be extremely good. And it's a tight one. It's like 4 hours. But like, yeah.
Oh, I'm going to smoke that.
No. I think you'll have a really good time with it. The aesthetic is really unique.
Oof.
Very like Grandia. Like Grandia 2, not original Grandia, because Grandia 1 holds up because it's pixelated, but Grandia 2 with kind of the chunky, shitty, like
the return
PS1,
to PlayStation
PS2.
1 aesthetic is real, and I don't love it.
I like it.
Oh, I'm so here for it.
So Loralie definitely does a little of that, but it is heavily stylized. Like, it looks better than a PS1 game for sure.
My nostalgia! How dare you?
Well, definitely nostalgia gets involved in various ways without getting too deep in there. So, anyway, other stuff that we should hit.
Boy, I don't know. I'll just make the statement.
I'm coming up
here.
on a...
Last year, I had to struggle trying to pick out the best game of the year, and that's because I didn't play Baldur's Gate 3 last year. So I think my retrospective is, I'm glad I played Baldur's Gate this year. I'm glad I got all the way through it. It was exhausting in a very, very good way. But looking kind of back on the games of last year, like, nothing really was a shining head and shoulders supreme experience like Baldur's Gate was. So I just need to make that statement here because I had said Street Fighter 6 was my game last year, and still a fabulous game. But that
Tears of the Kingdom was good. I mean, it wasn't as revelatory as Breath of the Wild, but it was a good game.
that was fine.
Yeah, I loved it.
What were you going to say, Jamie?
But I'm with you, Griff. I mean, BG3 is far and away. I was just going to say that there are biological needs that are going unmet.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if this is a good time.
We got to wind this boy down so Jamie can just make a big old
Poop on air.
I did not say
it.
what those biological needs
But
were.
the tenor of your voice
sex
told
swing
the
is
story.
calling.
You're both just putting words in my
chakra
mouth.
scissors demand attention.
Guys, Etsy crashed.
Oh,
after I put
no.
those up. Yeah.
All right. This is a great time to end it, I think. But this was really fun, guys. Let's do more of these.
Yeah.
Famous last words.
I agree.
love it.
Yes.
Thank you guys for bringing some stuff onto my radar that I was not aware of at all, and really good to talk to you.
We're all boomers now, so we can actually recommend games when we haven't heard of them.
Yes, and talk about house problems.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Great times, y'all.
So long. Thanks for listening.